was younger, in the 3rd grade, I was obsessed with platypi. Most other girls my age liked ponies if they were horse girls, or cats if they were into the Warriors series, but I was obsessed with platypi. I thought they were so cool. So that Christmas, I wrote handwritten letters to every member of my family telling them that for Christmas, I wanted a stuffed platypus. So that Christmas morning, I raced into the living room and I threw open my presents, and then I realized my stuffed platypus was nowhere to be found. Not that Christmas morning, not the birthday after that, not the Christmas after that, not the birthday after that. And by the time I was 14 or 15, I had given up all hopes on a stuffed platypus, and I just decided to love platypi from afar. And so this small event created a much larger question in my life, which was, did the people around me see the little things about me, my little hopes and dreams, and did they actually love me for that? And it took me a while, it was truly quite some time before I found anyone who did that, but when I did, it was my best friend and my now boyfriend, Matthew. We met in an unlikely circumstance, our friendship blossomed quickly, and to this day, we are still going very strong. So Matthew and I met completely by chance. My freshman year, my dorm Crocker paired up with Miller for the Mai Tai formal event. One little problem for us, though. The girls outnumbered the guys 2 to 1. So RAs decided to just pair up 2 girls for 1 guy. So my roommate and I approached the box where they had all the ties, and she reached for a pink tie. Now, I don't know if y'all know this about me, but despite the pink on my shirt, I do not naturally gravitate towards or even prefer pink as a color at all. So as I was about to object to this naturally terrible choice in tie color, I decided to restrain myself and withhold my very obvious disdain against her giddy excitement. Little did I know how much that pink tie would end up changing my life. She held up the tie and Matthew walked over. After finding out that Matthew, the math major from Miller, and I didn't have any similar classes at similar times or locations, we figured that this night would be the first and the last time we'd see each other. But little did I know that that was about to change. We hung out all the time and we just clicked. Being with him was like being with an old friend, just comfortable in every sense of the word. Remember how I told y'all that I like to solo travel and go hiking frequently? Well, I'm sorry. Just realized that I am off. Hold on.
That's okay.
Let's see. Yes. Okay. There is a popular phrase nowadays that I just revealed by accident on the board, and it says, if he wanted to, he would. It basically just means that if a guy loves you and he really wanted to show you, he would. If he wanted to, he would. And Matthew does. So now, do y'all remember that in my last speech I told y'all that I love to hike and solo travel and go to Yosemite? Well, I was coming back from this exact trip, and I was talking to Matthew on the phone saying, oh my goodness, I'm so exhausted from an 8-hour day of hiking, and I don't really want to do dishes. And so I pulled up to my house around 9 o'clock, and I opened the garage, and Matthew was standing there, and that isn't creepy. You know, he does have a key to my house, just thought I should preface like that. But before I could even get out of the car, he opened the door for me. He helped me and my shaking legs up the stairs. He told me that he had already done all of the dishes. He was running a warm shower, and that I wasn't even so much as allowed to touch a suitcase because he wanted me to get the rest that I needed, and he would take care of all of it. There's so much more that I don't really have time to mention, but so I won't tell you about the time that my flight got canceled and I was stranded in San Diego. So he was hanging out with friends who we hadn't seen in months. He left hanging out with them and drove 3 hours all the way down to San Diego to pick me up. Oh, and I won't mention the time that I was in my calculus final and I had an ovarian cyst that ruptured and I was internally bleeding. So he physically carried me back to my dorm because I couldn't walk. Oh, and I also won't mention the time that in Professor Fike's Com 180 class, he did his narrative speech on he and I and our friendship and the impact that it had on his life. There are many, many more things, and I mean, really, y'all, let me just say this. I run my mouth a lot, and I think I'm a lot funnier than what I actually am. And let's be real, I just get really bad hangry sometimes, and somebody has to put up with that all day to day. He is one of the most patient people that I know, and he is so caring. I never question whether or not I am fully known and fully loved by him. In conclusion, Matthew is my best friend. We met through an unlikely circumstance. Our friendship blossomed, and it is stronger than it has ever been today. So 2 Christmases ago was my first Christmas alone in Abilene, and honestly, at that point, I was just trying to survive the holidays. So you can imagine my surprise on December 24th when I opened up a package that I wasn't expecting. I opened it up, and the note said, "To Isa, from Matthew. I'm just sorry it took me this long to make your dream come true."